And we've started recording for our Empowered Women's Circle. Yay! So, as I've said to you before, when we talk about something and it makes us emotional, or at least I know it's the case for me and some of the people I've asked, and if we talk about something and it starts to make me emotional, I realize that I've hit a chord and it's something that I'm passionate about. And it really has a lot of energy and a lot of meaning to me. And I pulled out a project recently when I was cleaning a closet. Believe it or not, I haven't completely unpacked since the hurricane a year and a bit ago, so there's still stuff to be done. And I pulled out a project that I did in grade 7, and it said, I just want to leave this world cleaner than I came into it. I was in grade 7, and I remember acid rain was a big deal, and we were killing lakes, and it was just, it bothered me so much. And for some reason, as we get older and desensitized, we start to think about things a little differently. And I wonder if that's healthy for us, or if there's maybe it's important for us to continue to feel that pang in our heart when something really bothers us. And so Ashley has a very short public service announcement. I say very short, but it's probably going to be 7 minutes, 8 minutes, something like that, depending on how fast she talks. And I told her she can't talk this fast or nobody will understand her. She's going to share with us something that is near and dear to her heart, and it's plastic pollution.
Do you have your phone?
I do have my phone. Oh, I will time you, sweetie. You don't need to worry about the timing.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me just check, though, for a second that Dr. Stacy can hear us. Dr. Stacy, can you hear us? Can you somehow? Yeah, okay. Woohoo, love that. Seeing that thumb. That's great. Okay, and can you see the slides? Another thumb. Can you see the slide? Yay, she can see the slides. Okay.
I say everything that's on the slide.
Okay, here we go.
Actually, what we see is the Dropbox file. We don't see your slide presentation. We see your Dropbox file. So we see all the slides down the side, and a little slide with Ashley's presenter notes are also shown right now, too. So we're not just seeing Ashley's presentation. We're seeing that's great.
Okay, that's perfect. And I'm going to turn this a little bit so that maybe we can even see Ashley in the process. See if we can figure out how to do that. There you go.
Okay.
Okay, take it away, Ashley, for a little public service announcement about something that really means a lot to the world.
So today I'm going to teach you guys about plastic pollution, its details, impacts, animal observation solutions, and how you and your family and person help. The definition of plastic pollution is when plastic concentrates in an area has begun to negatively impact that area.
Ashley, just move a little closer to the computer.
Can I interrupt just for a moment?
Yeah.
Yes, please. And speak a little bit more slowly, because it takes a long time for you to get here to Canada.
and sort of project your voice into here, because this is all we have for mics. And don't worry, Stacy will let us know if she can't hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, so
good job so far.
The definition of plastic pollution is when plastic concentrates in an area and has begun to negatively impact that area, causing problems for wildlife, plants, and even human population. So 15 to 51 trillion pieces of plastic are in the world's oceans, from the equator to the poles and all the way to the seafloor. Not 1 square mile of the ocean anywhere in the world is not contaminated with or free of plastic pollution. So the concerns on the plastic waste in the environment have increased. Plastic is mainly composed of major toxic pollutants that negatively impact our environment. Improper dumping of disused and or abandoned plastic waste leads to contamination of the environment around the world. Millions of tons of plastics are discarded, disposed of, and or abandoned every year. I'm sorry, I didn't switch this.
Probably need to put that on. I think we turned that off. Oh, it's okay.
I got it.
Okay, good. Now try it.
There we go.
These things happen to me all the time.
So kind of in the middle now. Millions of tons of plastic are discarded, disposed of, and or abandoned every year. Although most plastic pollution originates on land, we see tons and tons of it floating on the now unclean water on the now unclean water of our contaminated oceans. As the world's population continues to grow, so does the amount of garbage that people produce. On-the-go lifestyle needs easy and disposable containers, which leads to the never-ending cycle of plastic pollution. So plastic pollution upsets the food chain. It contaminates our waters through groundwater pollution. It fills landfills. It contaminates our air. It kills animals, and it is expensive. And these are just some of the millions of negative impacts that plastic pollution produces.
There you go.
Okay. So around 80 million kilograms have accumulated in an area 3 times the size of France, and concentrations of microplastics are representing majority of this area. It is estimated that 1.8 trillion pieces of plastic are, sorry, it's not working.
That's good.
It is estimated that 1.8 trillion pieces of plastic are in just this area. And these rates are still increasing since the first study in 1970s and consistent observations in between 2000s and 2010s. Larger debris consisting of crates, fishing gear, and randomly scattered objects make up 92% of this plastic mass floating in the region. I don't know what to do about this.
It's okay. You're doing great. Just keep going.
There are 80,000 tons of plastic in our waters. Let me just remind you, a ton is 2,000 pounds, and a killer whale, also known as orca, is 6 tons. So just imagine 13,333 killer whales in this area, 2 times the size of France, and to give you another visual, this is 3 times the size of Texas. So it's a lot to comprehend, but it's all in one area. So 1.8 trillion pieces is equivalent to 250 pieces for every human in the world, and 99% of every pollutant is plastic. 46% of the total mass is discarded fishing gear, and 300,000 pounds of plastic are being made per hour. So that's a key point. And on top of that, 500 million straws are discarded per day. 1 million bags are globally disposed of per day, and 500 billion per year. Maybe I'm pressing it.
I think you are. Mm-hmm.
Okay, because of its durability, plastic is used 24/7, and we don't realize that plastic is not biodegradable. It impacts our ecosystem and majorly designed food chain in major ways. So these are just a couple of animals that are among the 700 species that are greatly affected by plastic pollution. Here we have the Hawaiian monk seal and the loggerhead turtles. So the loggerhead turtles, there's 6 out of 7 species that are classified as endangered because of plastic pollution. And on top of that, the Hawaiian monk seals, EPA reports that there are only 1,100 seals left in existence because of plastic. Fish in the North Pacific ingest up to 12,000 to 24,000 pounds of plastic, and probably any wildlife in the ocean is negatively impacted by plastic pollution. So by now you probably get the point that we're polluting our world, and you are eager to start the next step to finding solutions with me. So spread the word with family, friends, colleagues, and anyone that you can think of that would be helpful and is open to change. Get rid of bottled waters, forget to-go containers, wash with biodegradable shampoo and body wash, educate businesses, and get involved with social activities to help decrease pollution. Now go think of some things that you can do by yourself as a family that will be helpful. So you as a single person can save 170 water bottles from being made, and as a family of 5, you can save 850. I'm not pressing it now.
Okay.
Pack your lunch in glass containers. Don't use too many snacks with extra packaging. Don't use plastic cutlery. Use cardboard over plastic. Is it still working? Use cardboard over plastic. Get rid of plastic toothbrushes. Don't use cosmetics that may contain microbeads, such as bath and shower soaps. Use metal over plastic razors. Use wire hangers. Don't use plastic hampers. Don't use plastic straws. And if it is plastic, think twice. Refuse, reuse, and recycle. So here's some photos. On top of that, my email address, I can give it out to you guys if you want it. You can ask me questions. And also, the video of this presentation, which is slower and it has a pause button, is going to be on the EWC page that my mom is going to put on there by hopefully the end of the week. So you can send that to friends and family and anyone who is interested and is open to change. So if you would like my email address, I can give it out now. I'm going to talk quickly about a toothbrush. So we're all pretty much guilty of using plastic toothbrushes. I use an electric toothbrush, but there's disposable caps and there's like plastic packaging that goes with the disposable caps, and it just goes on and on. So one of the things that you guys can use, we're all guilty of using plastic toothbrushes, is a compostable, I have the paper here if you guys want to look at it.
You can pass it around. You can give it to Carolina, she can pass it around.
It looks like the plastic toothbrush, it's a wooden toothbrush there. It has a compostable handle, and it has charcoal and nylon strips to brush your teeth with. It does clean your teeth very well, and it's also compostable, so it helps the environment on top of that. My mom just bought us 5. I haven't used it yet because I was expecting to bring one here, but that didn't happen. So yeah, thanks to everyone who has supported me. It's been a bit depressing, but hopefully you guys have motivation in generations to come.
She didn't want to make you feel bad.
The problem with plastic water bottles is caps are supposed to go in garbage, and water bottles are supposed to go in recycling, I believe. So every time you put one in just garbage or just in recycling, the recyclable thingamajig, like whatever, tells it that it's not able to go through recycling. So that's what happens when you put it in the plastic water bottle and it doesn't work. So as long as you do it properly and you don't just like throw it on the side of the road into the waters, then you're probably fine.
Does anybody have any questions for Ashley? Those toothbrushes work actually really well.
Where did you get those?
Well, I ordered them right off of that website that's
It's a
there.
company called Wilder, and it comes in a really neat package, and it's really cute.
Put that on the information as well that you sent.
Okay, yeah, I will. Maybe I'll do a little follow-up to our live event in the next email, and I can put a couple of links on there. Looks like they have a lot of, and so you guys will see the website as well. It's just an online store, and it looks like they have a lot of really wholesome, compostable, environmentally friendly products, and it was from Yoga Journal is where I got it. But I've tried the toothbrush. It's actually amazing. I didn't think I was going to like it, but it's really good.
And there's bath and shower soaps that do not have microbeads in them.
Who knew that they were putting plastic in the environment with their soap?
Yeah, and I'm probably.
Okay, who knew that? You knew that? Who knew that you were putting plastic in the environment with your soap?
There's so many ways.
Oh, you knew that. I did not know that. Microbeads, like little bits of plastic from the soap that we use. We have to be really. Who knew that?
Does it say like in the back?
I looked on a lot of the ones that I thought, and I didn't see anything.
Does anybody, Gwen here or anybody there, know how you identify a body wash or soap that does not contain plastic microbeads?
Or that does.
Or that
I know
does?
you can tell if they have them because like a lot of the scrubs, those are actually, you can feel it
Okay.
more so than if it's just a soap. You won't feel that.
I have like an exfoliating
So-
face scrub.
One,
And are those microbeads?
so just 1 second. So Gwen's answer was if you can feel it in the soap, obviously it's probably plastic microbeads. And then Ashley's asking about exfoliants. And I know there's natural exfoliants like sugar-based and sand-based. So you could look for those. I'm going to guess if it says organic, it's probably not, it probably doesn't have plastic in it. But that's probably a pretty big deal.
I remember we went to camp and they always said biodegradable soap, right? So it's like ivory and pears and glycerin soaps,
Yeah.
We go to.
So Jill's talking about biodegradable soaps, and I know in Canada you guys are a little bit more careful about that in your lakes. Well, I don't know if we don't jump into our lakes and bath here, so we do that in Canada like all the time. But we always make sure we have biodegradable shampoo and conditioner and body wash and some kind of like camp wash that does everything but really doesn't do anything very well.
Well, except the one shampoo and conditioner that I loved it, all the different scents, and that's biodegradable. And we use that for the lakes too. That's really nice. I wish they had those here.
So I'll get back to our little bit of our introduction. Do you have anything else?
Yeah. Nicole, is she there?
Yeah, she's
Say hi to Anna for me. Tell her I sent her a letter.
Nicole, that you see here, that you may already know a little bit, has the same family I do. She has a boy who's 14. Yeah, 14, and her twin girls are 12. So exactly the same family. Big fun story how we met. I think she might be chatting here. Let's see what she said. She said, I will. Okay, so let's just do a little short reminder about the Empowered Women's Circle, which is not usually involving such important special announcements, but we are here because it is absolutely obvious as we go out and about in our roles in the world that I see it every day. I was in clinic all day yesterday. I saw it, and I'll share more later. But women in general are feeling really isolated and alone and overwhelmed and exhausted and challenged in ways that create a sense of almost hopelessness. And the only way forward in my 20 years of practice and the last 5 years of really trying to dig into helping women figure this out, and myself, the only way forward is through connection. And whether that is a sense of belonging to a community that you don't necessarily see everybody every day, it's just a sense of belonging to something bigger than yourself, a sense that there's a flow in life, that women are coming together in shared and non-judgmental, accepting and loving relationships with each other, as opposed to a lot of the relationships that we are seeing in our everyday experience that is more of a competitive feeling, or a I'm not enough feeling, or I'm better than, or I'm not as good as, and this real sense of, if I don't change this, that, or the other about myself, I can't fit in, I can't be accepted, I can't be loved. And I've really found that when we can come together in a really accepting way that says, hey, I'm with you, I'm standing with you, I'm in support of you. If there's something you need, you can ask without being afraid to ask. And as women, we do generally a couple of different defenses when we get overwhelmed and struggling. We isolate, that's it. Nobody's going to understand what I'm going through, so I'm going to do this all alone. We fall into a sense of victimization. All of this is happening to me, and all of the stuff is out of my control, and there's not much I can do about it, so I'm just going to have to live with it, and not realizing that there are always places that you hold control in your life. Or we just kind of passively go, okay, what will be, will be. And in that, it might feel nice and peaceful, but it doesn't actually motivate us and move us into action in the areas of life that absolutely need us to be in action. And whatever those areas of action are for each of us is different, because we're all put on this earth to do something equally miraculous, but uniquely different. And so that's why we come together. If you haven't visited the website, there is now a website, EWCircle.com. It's still in construction. It's still kind of housed on my website, but you can go to that website, and there's cards at the back, and I'm going to challenge you at the end. If I forget, help me remember. I'm going to challenge you at the end to take a business card that says EWCircle.com and give it to somebody, because then we can continue to grow our circle. We have 254 women in our circle. It is getting bigger and bigger every day. It is amazing. It would be lovely if we could get, I don't want 254 in this room, because there's no way we can sit them yet. If we could just grow slowly enough to know how big a room we need, that would be a great problem to have. But we have lots and lots of people in our circle. And if you go to that website and you look for the homepage, you're going to see basically everything you need to know about who we are and what we do and why we're here. And don't sue me. I always have my don't sue me slide up there. You guys know this already. Just a second. Sorry about the beeping. We've been through our shared commitments at length before, but in addition to the things I just said, there's also this piece of self-responsibility, and this piece that I am strong and capable and confident and competent enough to look after myself and my own needs, but I know when I need help, and I know how to clearly ask for that. And I'm listening to Brene Brown right now, and she's put that into one quick sentence, which is Clarity is kindness. If you can be clear in identifying what your needs are to the people around you, that's very, very kind. What is not so kind is saying you have needs that aren't being met, but you're not able to clarify what they are, because then people can't help you. Clear is kind. And I'm trying to use that with some of the things I've been expressing in my family lately. There's needs, I'm busy, I'm traveling, I have many things that I'm feeling are falling on me that maybe I don't have time for, I'm overwhelmed. But if I can't clearly express what I need, how can I ever expect it to be met? And I'm sure you all feel the same way. So we'll go through those shared commitments at another time. But essentially, we're here because we love each other and we want to be in circle together. I'll do a quick opening centering, and then I'll turn it over to you to answer a couple of questions so that we can get our voices in the room. So I'll ask you to take a nice big breath. And I like to put my feet both flat on the floor. We're just going to take a nice, big, deep breath and shift our awareness into our body. Bring ourselves into the room. As I like to say, drop in. Drop into this space, in this room, right now, without needing to find any of the answers to any of the questions. Just know that you are here for whatever reason it is, to share time, and that you are here to pour into yourself, maybe for the first time today, maybe for the first time this week, maybe for the first time since our last circle, but you're here now. Acknowledge yourself for all it took to get you here, for all the practical things that had to be taken care of before you could actually get here. Acknowledge yourself for having the energy and the motivation to come. You don't necessarily always know what you're going to take away. What we do know, and what we're reminded of every time we get together, is that sharing time with other high-functioning, like-minded, health-conscious women is always valuable and time well spent. And as you bring your awareness deeply into your body, pause at the bottom of an exhale. Every time you finish that exhale, just pause and feel that warmth as it comes over your body. I love that moment of pause. And as you become deeply aware of your own weight in your chair, your feet on the ground, just wrap yourself in a warm, loving blanket, acknowledging that we're human, that we have flaws, that it's easy to get impatient or triggered, that it's okay, that we're human. And that what counts is that we see it, acknowledge it, forgive ourselves, show compassion and empathy toward all those parts of us that have to live in this crazy world, and move beyond it with strength, confidence, competence, and a knowing that we are here for a deeply aligned purpose, that there is an energy and an intelligence that is carrying us, and that we are here aligned with that purpose to support others, to share with others, maybe just to smile at someone at the grocery store. Whatever that ripple effect is, we're here to share in those human experiences with others. So as you feel the energy in your own body and your awareness in your own body, just with your eyes still closed, energetically extend. Really feel an extension of that energy to all the women in this room with us, all the women who are in Brantford in their room. Brantford extending to us, we can really feel as if we're one women's circle, and all the women virtually who are either here or watching later. who are part of our Empowered Women's Circle but just couldn't get with us tonight, who read the emails, who see the Facebook posts, who share with us just by virtue of also living this life. And as we very warmly extend an embrace around all of those women who are part of our circle, just extend again to the women we're going to hear about tonight in Honduras that have received help, to the women who are looking for help, to all of the young girls who aren't yet sure what life has in store. And as we extend that love and that warm embrace, just feel yourself lifting up in support. It doesn't feel heavy. It feels actually really light and peaceful and calm and joy-filled to know that we're extending that love to all of those women, those who need us and those who don't know they need us. In all of the actions, in all of our words, in all of our smiles, in all the things we do tonight and through the rest of our week and month, till we're together again. And take another couple big breaths, wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes so you don't get lightheaded.
40945
Define it.
55.
And open your eyes to that. It was not very calming.
Yeah, that's it.
I think it might, I think it might have been a lady who called me today and said she was coming. But I hate to like stress her. It's a 409 number, so maybe she's calling from Galveston. Anyway, that was a wake-up call. That was a wake-up call. So I did a retreat recently, and I was actually ruling out the thought that anybody would want to go to Toronto, but the exact same retreat that I just ran is being held in Toronto. And so I thought I would at least let you all know that a very good friend of mine, a confidant, and actually a power partner of mine, Melissa Burns, is holding the exact same retreat in Toronto for a group of women who have stepped up, just like Carolina, Marcia, Becky, and Anna came to the retreat. So you'd have to hurry up and get your flight to Toronto, but it's happening, and it's actually at a beautiful retreat center east of Toronto. So I wanted to share that. So we're going to go around the room, and I think, Stacy, probably best if we mute at this point. I'll keep Nicole with us, and we're going to just get our voices in the room. What's your name? And I'm thinking, relevant to what we just heard from our public service announcement from Ashley, I would love to know what is near and dear to your heart. When you think of it, it actually tightens up your chest because it's something that you feel deeply moved about or by. And I would love to hear what that is for you, because remarkably, we think, well, it must be the same for everybody, but it's actually not. I think what really moves each of us is a very individual thing. So I'd love to hear that. And also anything else you want to share with us. So there's kind of those three questions. What's your name? What's that cause that really, really hurts your heart? And what would you like to share with us in the circle so that we can get our voices in the room? So I'm going to mute if I can figure out how. There. that I'll just come back to you guys. I was just sharing, we all had like incredibly powerful, the world impacts us in incredibly powerful ways. And so human trafficking for me is this, like, I don't know what to do about it, but I don't even know if you guys know what it is, but people are sold, and they're sold either for their labor, or they're sold for sex, or their children are sold because they can get money for children. And so people are taken and sold, and Houston is a hub for that. And so as I read about that, and I see signs in airports about that, like, it just kills me that exists in the world, and I wish I knew what to do about it. You have all met Dr. Maria Mejia, and that's one of her big passions too. And she really puts her money where her mouth is, and she gives money to some, what's the name of that house in Houston?
Rundown.
No, that's not it. Can't think of the name of that. There's a house in Houston for young people that have been victims of human trafficking, and it might be Harbor House, but I have to look it up.
It's a rescue Houston.
It's a rescue, yeah.
There's a
Yeah, and they're looking,
rescue.
and I looked into it at one point because I thought, well, we could foster one of those young girls. And I asked Jeremy, we had a big conversation, and we thought about it. We never took that next step, but that's just like, oh, if I could do something about that in this lifetime, that would be a win. So on that happy note, we are moving on to Marcia. She's going to take this over, and she's going to give us some positive energy on the heels of all that emotion. Go, girl. Hmm? Yes. Can you hear us, Stacy?
Yeah.
Yes, they can.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't put any slides in there. I slightly modified yours. All right. So first thing I want to do is kind of just update and figure out, since we didn't do introductions with both.
Stacy, if she wants a break right now, I just looked at the time.
Stacy, do you guys need a break right now? Do y'all want a break before I continue? Yes, no?
Sure. Do you want a 3-minute break? And we
Sure. Do you want a 3-minute break? And we sure. Do you want a 3-minute break?
5 minutes?
Here we go. All right.
Get some snacks.
I was trying to.
Want to come and sign in, and I'll put your name on the card. I know, I'm thinking home like this. I do that now. I don't know, I was I'm sorry. You're running off.
The grandson and my birthday are in October. And that's yeah. June or something. You drove a long way to go no, the Canadian Thanksgiving is really, I think second Monday or something in October. Oh, okay. So theirs is first Monday, but theirs is always before holiday. Yes. No, we're not gonna do that. We even asked honestly, I mean, honestly,
I don't have the answer for you immediately, but if you give me some time, like to then see if I can gather some information. Give it to you, via email or. Yeah, I'm gonna let you know, yeah. Are we ready to start it? Probably.
I feel like I should do this. I've been doing courses on myself. I'm running through the house. And I'm like, where's my cell phone? I know. Because sometimes we use the touch phone, right? Well, I use it. When I take on my cell phone. Yeah. I've been studying and like I said, I can't find my cell phone. She's like, yeah, I know. Yeah.
So it's not a.
Did you guys see this movie?
Yeah.
Actually, I see a stars. They got there's a trash bag in the 1970s hanging from the door. And I was like, oh, it's the door? Yeah. It's like, no more. Yeah. You know, say something. They get to like do something. Yeah, and I'd never seen it. Yeah.
Are they?
I like to say what they make.
Ready?
Right at the end of the song.
Okay, we'll come back now. I think Stacy can probably hear us, huh?
Okay, so
We're all set. We're all set.
okay.
All right, let's get this party going.
party is going. Come on. Come back.
We're gonna figure out how to move our body.
Yeah, so the first thing I want to do, since we didn't do introductions with both rooms today, is I want to ask Stacy's group who all is there that has been working on our movement contests, because I kind of know already in this room who has, but how many of you over there? I don't know if she wants to either raise hands or give me a number. How many of us? There's 3 of you there tonight that have been working on the contest. Awesome.
Ask how many are there tonight.
Yeah, how many do you have total in your room? She needs 2 hands. 7. All right, 7. All right, so there's 3 out of the 7 that have been working on the contest, and then there's 4 of you that haven't. And in this room, what's our numbers? We have 1.
Who's been working on the contest?
Yeah, raise your hand if you've been working on the contest. Whether you've been 100% with it or not is not the question. The question is,
did you sign up for
hold
the
on, hold on, 1 second, 1 second. If you signed up for the contest and you've at least done 1 workout in the last 4 weeks, raise your hand. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of our 1, 2, 3, 7 out of 13. So we're about half. Stacy, did you want to say something? Can you say something?
We have Lori, who's not attending here tonight, but she posted her tracker on our Facebook group. And it's not that only half of the people are participating, it's that we have a brand new member tonight as well. So she didn't even know. Perfect. And so we are doing awesome.
Okay, and we have a couple of those here. And I've got great news for all of the newbies, or for anyone who hasn't started, even though they might not be a newbie, is that if you want to get in on the second half of this, you can. Now, the one caveat is that you won't necessarily be eligible for the big, huge grand prize drawing, but we are going to have more than just 1 drawing. So there's lots of fun and lots of prizes to be had for all. So a real quick recap for those that don't know about the contest that we were already involved in. It's an 8-week-long contest to move as we go into the end of the year to kind of get a jump start on New Year's resolutions. And I'm going to touch a little bit on New Year's resolutions in just a minute on my opinion of them. But basically, it's an 8-week contest. All I'm asking is that at least twice a week you move. Doesn't have to be any particular type of exercise. It can be a walk in the park. It just has to be intentional that you're doing it for the purpose of moving your body. You can't say, hey, I went shopping and I was just walking for an hour. That doesn't count, right? It has to be intentional. I'm doing this for the purpose of moving my body. Minimum of twice a week, a minimum of an hour a week. It can be broken down any way you want. If you need more details, I'm not going to go into it tonight. We talked about it a lot last month, but I am happy to share that after the fact with anyone that wants to join us. Now, here's the deal. We are in our 5th week of this, which means we're actually 4.5 weeks into it. Which means if you haven't started and you want to start tonight, you can let me know.
Get down and give me 20.
Wow, she's tough. She's tough. You don't have to, 20 what? Anywho, so since today's Wednesday and we're already in it, you've got 2 choices. If you have intentionally moved, and you can be on the honor system and say, I actually did movement in, because we start them on Monday, right? So I did movement Monday, Tuesday, or today on Wednesday, then that's great. You can count it and just start with us as of Monday. But if for some reason you didn't, but you're like, hey, I really want to get on this, we have exactly 4 weeks and 3 days until our next meeting. And so you can make up the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday that you might have lost this week, that first week, or that week before our women's circle back in December. Okay, so maybe that made sense, maybe it didn't. If it didn't make sense and you want to know and you want to join us, email me, Marcia at Fit with Marcia, if you've got the slide up there, and I will get you involved in it. Just let me know within the next, say, 24 to 48 hours. We'll get you in, okay? All right, so for those of you that are in, and you can do this in your room as well, anyone who brought their tracker, I want it. Bring it, bring it, bring it. I want to see it. I want to see it. You don't have to show me if you don't want, but we're going to do a drawing with it. Catherine's got hers. Can I see it?
Oh.
Am I allowed to see it?
Yeah.
Or do you want me to just fold it up and not look at it? Come on, don't be shy. Bring it in, bring it
I'm having a
in.
really hard time with this. I have to.
We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it.
I only miss one.
Nice job. Well,
Can you
are we filled out? You're not filled out though? You didn't fill out these weeks?
I printed the wrong page.
The wrong one. Oh, okay.
I
Gotcha,
printed
gotcha,
the first-
gotcha.
the first
It
one.
doesn't matter.
Oh, look at Marcia. Look at.
We have some up there?
Show me
Oh,
again.
show again, show again. I wasn't looking.
Yay!
Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Well, send them in. It doesn't matter if you did one workout or none. Is that yours?
No, it's her copy, but
Oh.
she said
My
to put
only
it
black
here,
thing.
but I.
Well, it's okay. Have you been keeping track at home? That'll work.
Yeah.
That'll work. Put your name on it.
Black.
All right. So I'm going to use these for
No
a
name.
drawing later. Now, I know some people, my mother, didn't bring hers,
Okay.
even though I told her, because she's been sick, and I said, it doesn't matter, just put that you're sick on there, bring it. And she's like, what? And you've been participating, did you bring yours?
No, I didn't.
You didn't bring yours either?
No, I was too embarrassed. I started off really good. And
All
then
right.
A couple weeks.
Oh, I
not so
need
good.
Okay,
Should
so
I be embarrassed? My tracker's not very good.
I didn't even look at these. I will give them back. These are going to be for a drawing later. I am not here to judge whether you've been on track or not. What I am here to do is to talk to you guys a little bit about setting goals and the importance of them, but yet how do we kind of go about this feeling of, because you said to me a couple of times, I'm really feeling like I haven't done what I set out to do, and it's bringing me down, and that feeling of being brought down by not achieving your goals is really very counterproductive.
Yes. it
Right?
is. almost
Can I
want
get a hell yeah on that one? Anybody? How are you guys doing? Real quick, I don't know if you want to share your voice or just put a thumbs up, thumbs sideways, or thumbs down on how you're doing. Are you keeping track? Are you on it? Or okay, you're on it. What about the other two? Everybody on it? Good job. Must be something in the Canadian air that they're doing better than some of us. But awesome. But there's a lot of psychology behind setting goals, and one of the most important things, in my opinion, about setting goals is, and I asked you guys this when we were. I emailed most of you if it wasn't real clear what you were doing. My big question at the end is on a scale of 1 to 10, how sure are you that you can do this? And if you give me anything less than a 9, and I do this with my coaching all the time, anything less than a 9, I'm like, scale it back. So you scale it back and it's still an 8 or a 7. Scale it back again, because the goal is to be successful, because success is going to breed more success. So we want to make sure that whatever we put on paper that says we're going to do is something that we can actually achieve. I had a really interesting call with one of my clients earlier today, and she's a nutrition client, so this was not a movement-based goal, but she travels a lot. She travels as much as she is at home. So I'm kind of counseling two different clients. Basically, we've got the at-home version of Deborah, and we've got the travel version of her. And she's very successful at home, but on travel, she gets overwhelmed. She's on board meetings. She's participating in board meetings because she's on several boards. She's got the fatigue from changing time zones. She's got all kinds of things going on, and she just feels like she's failing. And so we talked about that a lot today, about the fact that her goals when she's at home cannot be the same goals that she has when she's traveling. And so for her, that's she's having to think of herself as a little bit of But
Can I
yeah.
just ask this question because I'm thinking of our shift workers. Maybe there's two separate people, one when they're on shift and working and one when they're off, like 3 days, 3 off, 3 nights.
It certainly can be, and
that kind of thing.
absolutely. So, I mean, I think you have to kind of really, I call them crucial conversations, and I have crucial conversations with my clients all the time. You know, are you really doing what we've discussed that you're going to try? But then sometimes it's like, have you really had that crucial conversation with yourself? Can you really justify saying, I'm going to do X when you've got all these other things going on? So absolutely, if you have shift work, if you travel, if you have different schedules for one reason or another, you basically have to think about that. And what does the big picture look at? So for some people, the big picture is a month at a time where they know they're going to be home for 2 weeks and gone for 2 weeks. But other people, it's literally just a few days. And so what does my big picture look like? When I set a goal for myself, I'm looking at the difference between, and we'll kind of talk about this a little bit, the difference between I want to challenge myself to do better versus I want to create a habit that is sustainable. So let's talk about that a little bit. When you guys were setting goals for this movement, or if you intend to join us, or in general, if you have opinions about goals, tell me a little bit about what you're thinking of when you set a goal. Are you saying, oh, I'm here and I'm just trying to challenge myself short term? Or am I trying to make a long-term habit change? And is it going to be a different goal if it's one versus the other? Any thoughts on that? What are we thinking here?
I have something I can share. I feel really reassured what you're saying, because when you presented the challenge, I thought, well, I would love to do it, but I never do. I've been belonging to a gym for many years and never go, and there are always things that I wanted to do. But I thought I wanted to be a part of it. I was really excited. So I picked something like really easy, really low that I could do. And then when I wrote it down, she even changed it into like more than I thought. I'm like, I really didn't need that. It's funny, like I told you two times, but I wanted to say, well, I either do this or this, kind of cheating myself. And she says, oh no, okay, you have, you wrote it more than I had committed to.
I did.
And I thought, oh, that's fine. I can do it, because it was kind of embarrassing. But my idea was just to at least, how do you put it, like 1 hour? It was 1 hour maximum.
1 hour total minimum
2 times.
And broken into at least 2 different days.
And what I did is just try to do the minimum, but again, since I put 2 different times, you said, oh, okay, you do 1 day, 1 class plus another 30-minute thing another day. And what happened is that I said, okay, it was recorded as very basic. Then I felt like you added a little, and not because you intended to, but I wasn't clear on what I said, and I wanted to take that challenge. And what ended up happening is that I ended up doing more because the opportunity was there, and I feel really good about it. I feel really motivated. Like, wow, I can actually go. Then you guys met Elena. So instead of doing something very easy, I end up going to this class that she's like, I'm coming out like, dead and all in pain. But it has been a lot of fun, and I really want to continue it. And the one day where I couldn't do it, I have been trying to find another way to make it up. So
Nice work, Anna. Nice work.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Very good.
I'm proud of it, but I think that the key is starting with something very, that is achievable. In this case, the bare minimum became a little more. And then I saw some of the things that you guys had done. I'm like, well, I would never. I mean, I would like to do it, and the arms, the legs, or just different parts of your body. I'll get there maybe.
You will get there. Well, congratulations on having that success. That's awesome. It leads me to another part, and maybe we're skipping ahead, but what did you say? You said something that I was like, oh, that's what we're about to start talking about.
She made her goals low so she could succeed.
Right, and that's kind of where we're, you know, you want to make sure it's something that you can succeed at. I lost my train of thought. I'm fighting a headache here, so I apologize. But you do. You want to make it so. Sometimes we have something in particular that we're trying to reach for. So let me give you an example that I had one time many years ago. Some friends of mine wanted to do the Tough Mudder, which is a 12-mile obstacle course with 25 different obstacles made by the Navy SEALs, and it's just crazy.
Why not?
And I was like the cardio queen. I'm like, 12 miles I got. 25 obstacles where I have to like pull myself up and do these things. I'm like, there's no way. This is before I was a personal trainer. This is before any of this stuff. This is many, many years ago. And I'm like, well, here's my goal. I got to build up enough arm strength that I don't feel like a complete idiot on this course, that I can't pull myself up and do these things. So that's actually how I fell in love with TRX. You guys know I love TRX. If you've had any conversations or heard me talk at all, I love TRX, and it's because it developed my upper body strength. It was at the time a very short-term goal. I wanted to do X. This was going to get me to it. I was going to do it and be done with it. Well, I fell in love with it. I had opportunity, and it created this growth and this change. And so if you make your goals small and achievable, even if it's for a short-term thing, sometimes that leads to more. When I set goals, another really key part of it to me is when you set a goal, what's a goal you might have as far as health and wellness? Anybody, give me an example of a goal you may have currently.
Like a weight on the scale?
That could be a goal, right? So like I could have a goal of a certain weight. Anyone else?
To lose muscle mass.
Like to gain muscle mass?
Gain
or?
muscle mass. Yes.
Okay.
Add certain number of vegetables or add certain food groups to your diet, I guess.
Okay, so add food groups to your diet. So that's actually where I'm going with this.
So some food prepping, like, you know.
Not necessarily food, but the type of goal that is versus the type of goal this is. So weight on a scale.
You're all over it tonight.
She is. Anna's on top of things here. Weight on a scale. Do you have control over that goal? Nods of heads, yes or no. Do you have control over what the weight is on the scale?
Yes.
No. You have zero control over what that weight is on the scale. You know when you do it. You know when it happens. But do you have control over whether or not you gain weight or not? What? Anyone in the Canadian group want to nod heads? Do you have control over whether or not you gain weight or not? What do you think?
Eat a whole pile of stuff.
I'm agreeing with her.
Well,
Okay.
you can't control how your body's processing whatever you.
So here's the thing. I can exercise 7 days a week. I can eat as clean as the cleanest diet comes. I may gain weight, I may lose weight. There are other factors involved. What I do have control over is
What you can do, I mean, what you put in your body.
my behaviors.
Okay.
My behaviors. So when you set a goal, you want to have an outcome-based goal. Weight on a scale is an outcome-based goal. You may want to have X number of more muscle mass. You may want to have your blood pressure go up or down, or your cholesterol reduced. You may want an outcome, but you can't control that. What you can control is your behaviors that are supposed to lead towards those goals. So when I set a goal, yes, I'm going to say this is my outcome, but these are the behaviors that I know should help me lead towards it. Does that make sense? because your success has to be based on what you do, not on what that scale says. So that is kind of just what I want to drive home about setting goals, is that you got to make sure you're recording and basing your success on something that you actually do have control over, and that's what you're doing to try and get that to happen. Now, if that outcome isn't happening, then you can modify your goals to help you get, you know, okay, well, my cholesterol's not going down, so how else can I tweak my behaviors? What else can I do? My weight's not going down, or my body fat isn't decreasing, so what else can I do? That's important. And the last thing I wanted to talk to you about goals, as far as when you're not reaching a goal, especially a behavior-based goal that you're set for yourself. So if you've set for yourself the intention that I'm going to do 5 workouts a week, and you're not reaching it consistently, you didn't reach it for a week or 2 because you were sick, that's not a problem. But if when you're healthy, or when there's not extenuating circumstances, or when there's always some kind of extenuating circumstance, right? Oh, this week I'm sick. Next week my kids have too many activities. And then the next week I've got this going on. The dog got sick. You know, if there's always an extenuating circumstance, then you have to start having those critical conversations about, why am I not doing the behaviors that I have set out for me to do? And that's a matter of setting, you know, knowing what your priorities and values are. And sometimes it's a matter of sitting down and making a time log. Where am I spending my time? What am I doing? What am I doing that is obviously more important to me than this other thing that I said was important but isn't getting done? I mean, if you are making money on Candy Crush, then by all means.
You can make money on Candy Crush?
I don't know. I was kidding.
And I know you won't say it yourself, but hiring you would be a way to help modify behaviors to meet an outcome.
Well, absolutely.
Like if I was failing miserably and I decided I can't do it alone.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. I have a lot of clients
That's why I'm here.
that you know.
Is she effective?
Very.
I mean, they tell me I would never do this if I were at home on my own. I would not push myself. I get told I have harder and harder work these days.
Can
But
you share your outcome or your goal, like how it's working for you?
It's working well because I make a commitment, because I know that Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, I'm going to show up there at 8:30, and I just know that's my 8:30.
8, 3, 2, 3, 4.
another wake up call. Yeah, so absolutely hiring me, hiring any other personal trainer, hiring a life coach, when we seek out someone to help us do something, it's because we're not designed to be experts at everything, right?
Because we need help with stuff.
Because we need help with stuff. Exactly.
And it's accountability too, I think. And this is a small group, but even if I was going to a gym, if I had a partner that I had to meet there, is that accountability? And
Absolutely.
It's going to get you there.
I have some tips. I actually went back to a talk that I did in your office one time, and it's about setting goals and how to make it a little bit easier to reach them. And some of the tips were, and they're specific to movement, but you can kind of modify them for just about anything. Number one is try new things. So if your goal is to move more and you're not doing it, try some different things till you find something you like. Because I tell you what, the only workout that's going to be effective is the one you do. And if you don't like it, you're not going to do it. Same thing with nutrition. Try new recipes, try different types of foods, try something until you find something that you like, and just explore. Have an accountability partner, have someone that you can swap recipes with, have someone that can meet you at the gym, have someone, whatever your goal is, find a way to have someone that has that same type of goal to work with. Whatever you're doing, schedule it, put it in your calendar. If it's not in your calendar, you're not going to do it. your calendar is not in your head. Your calendar is either on paper or on your phone or on your computer. Make an appointment with yourself to do these things. You know, I'm going to chop vegetables for 30 minutes on Sunday. That's doable. But when you say I'm going to eat healthy, that can be a harder thing. You know, that's a big, broad thing. But if you break it down, and maybe not 30 minutes, somebody's like,
30 minutes.
food prep for 30 minutes or whatever. I'm gonna do certain things. If you actually schedule time for these things, you should see my calendar. It's all kinds of crazy. But it's like a block of time that I know this time is for that. Know what your goals are. That seems really, really silly to even say, but when you just kind of think you want to get healthier, you think you want to do this, or it's in your head, put it on paper, put it on Post-it note on your mirror in front of you. So every day you see it, make sure you know what that is. And the bigger part of knowing what your goal is, to me, and this was a big part of that talk that I got some of this from, is know why you have that goal. That is probably what I would love to have as the biggest takeaway from tonight is why? Why am I doing this? And when you say I want to exercise because I want to lose weight, that's the first why. Then you ask yourself, why do you want to lose weight? Well, I want to lose weight because I'll feel better when I look better. Okay, well, that's number 2. Keep going down this path at least to the 5th why. Well, why do you want to look better and feel better? What's going to change if you look better and feel better? Well, I'll feel more confident and I'll be able to express myself better and present myself better to the world. Okay, well, why do you want to do that? I mean, keep going down until you get to that place that Catherine was talking about, to that thing in your heart that makes you kind of choke up a little bit. And so I do this with a lot of my clients, and it sometimes gets to, I want to be around for my grandkids. And right now my health is not great. And I'm worried that I won't be able to see them or play with on the floor because I won't be able to get back up or whatever it is that gets you to that place where you do start kind of choking up. It's not about losing weight. It's about what that will give you and what part of your life, what quality in your life you're going to get back or get better or last longer. In this process of researching, I was looking up some memes and stuff because I thought I was going to put up other slides and I didn't. There's another one there. Oh, that was for the prize. I kind of changed yours. But anyway, I found this really funny meme. It's probably very inappropriate for this movement challenge because y'all are just going to be like, well, then why are we doing this anyway? But it said, yes, people who exercise live longer, but they spend those years in the gym. I'm like, well, it may be true, but at least you get, anyway, it was funny. Last but not least in my tips, just make sure you're kind to yourself, you're compassionate, expect bumps in the road, expect that you're not going to get every week because you get sick or because you travel or whatever your reasons are. It's okay. It doesn't make you a failure. It means that you need to reevaluate that goal and maybe I need to modify it a little bit and let's just change it and move forward. It doesn't mean that I just need to give up or anything like that. It just means that I need to reevaluate what's going on. I think that's most of what I want to talk about, just kind of about goal setting and how you make sure that you are doing something that makes you feel successful. Because that in the end, when I'm coaching clients, whether it's nutrition or exercise or just general life habits, you need to feel successful. You need to feel like you're moving a little bit better. I have 2 Post-it notes on my computer. I'll end with this. They're my 2 favorite things that I've gotten in the last year when I was doing my level 2 certification. The first one says, always something, never all or nothing. So that one hit me hard because I think it's really, really important that we always try to just do 1% better. 1% improvement from where we were last week or last month or whatever. It doesn't have to be huge leaps and bounds. And I get clients, especially come January, I'm gonna get all these clients that want to come in, they just want to do everything. It's like, let's go, full rights ahead. And I'm like, whoa, slow down there, because it's just gonna lead you to kind of falling off the wagon in March. My best friend, I tell her this is a brilliant idea. She wants to open up a gym January through March, and then come March, she's gonna change it into a bar. She's like, you got January, February, March, and then by March we fall off. And it's because people set these huge goals. I know, right? It's just like the perfect idea. Because I worked in a gym, and it's so true. Come January, February, March, the place is crowded. You can't get to a set of weights to save your life. There's no cardio machines. There's nothing. And then by about March, let's go get a margarita. Exactly. Put a margarita machine there instead. So definitely just work on always doing a little bit of something, not all or nothing. I'm trying to remember the other post-it note now. Do you know? You don't know. What is it? It's really good.
It's okay, that was a good one.
Anyway.
Motivation, probably you have to remember why you started.
Well, remembering what the goal was. Yeah, there's a lot of research that says the people that like post up things, you know, I mean, whether it's a picture of you when you were thinner, or, you know, if you have a goal of saving money for a trip to somewhere, put that, you know, if you want to go to Australia, put a picture there, like remember it, put it front and center so that you can remember why, and knowing why you're doing it is important, and then remembering why you're doing it, all of that. I'll remember the other post-it note later, and then I'll interrupt whoever's talking. Telling you. Anyway, that's about it. Do we have any questions as far as goals, or any other comments from you guys? Or if anyone has questions about joining us for the second half of the movement challenge, certainly let me know in this room, or email me. I'll put that one back up real quick. Email me at Marcia@FitWithMarcia if you want to join us for the second half, because Catherine and I are going to have prizes and everything. Oh, and so we are going to do prizes for tonight. Yeah, do y'all have anything you want to say before I do this real quick? Anybody? No? You guys good?
As you're doing that, though, I want to ask, because before we leave tonight, I'd like everybody to put their goal, I don't know what word you want to use, their outcome goal, no, their behavior change goal, into the room. Okay, write it in your journal and put it into the room. So like, just be thinking about that. Maybe you already have one you're working on, or maybe you want to shift it and change it, which Marcia is giving us some space to do if we set one that isn't working. And you're in the movement contest, or you're not in the movement contest. So what is going to be your goal? Preferably movement goal, because that's what we're working on right now. But in the Empowered Women Circle, we have all kinds of different goal settings. So if it's a different goal, that's fine. But a movement goal or a goal, before you leave, we're gonna give you a chance to say what it is.
Okay. So these are the people that brought their trackers. I'm going to let I'll let one of your daughters choose one of these. Who wants to choose? Choose one. All right. I don't think names were on this, but if you recognize this tracker, whose was this?
It's blank.
It's Mary's. It's hers. It's the one she was using today. Okay. So what I have for Mary is this book that I got. Yay! Yes. And this book is called Charging the Human Battery. And it's 50 Ways to Motivate Yourself. It's just a cute little motivational type book. I put this here because this is, I'll read this where they can hear. Hopefully they can still hear me. This is one of my favorite. I love this from this book. It says, "He who has health has hope, and he who has hope has everything." So that was just one of my favorite ones. So you in the book. Welcome. And who else brought their trackers? Who else brought their trackers tonight?
I did.
Brought it.
I did. That one.
Who else did?
Who brought
Oh,
their trackers?
and Anna. Laura and Anna. So since y'all brought them, I'm going to give you some idealized samples.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm done. Yes, there's some post-workout, pre-workout in there, everything else. Unless there's questions, I'm gonna move on. Who's coming after me? I'm done. And does everyone want their tracker?
All right, let's see where we are going next. Do we need a break? I wasn't going to take another break. Anybody need a break in the Brantford break? You guys are good? All right. I am going to hand over to Carolina. And thank you. Thank you for my tracker back. You know what? My original goal was 11 workouts a week. Yeah, I know. And then when I got that back in the email from Marcia, who didn't question it at all, I was like, what? Did I really say that? Forget it. Okay, I'm going back on my word. I'm not doing 11 workouts.
Hey, I should say, if there's anyone who needs to modify their goal for the second half, up or down, just email me. If you're already in and you want to change it for the second half, just email me.
Okay, so Marcia says, email her if you want to change your goal for the second half. You are more than welcome to change your goal up or down. Email her so that she knows what your new goal is. All right. Sorry. Carolina.
Okay.
You have like
5 minutes.
max 10.
Okay. So this is something that I wanted to share with you. Mary and I went to Honduras end of September, and it was at a time when this hurricane that hit Florida was starting in Central America. So we got all the storm, and we got a lot of rain. You know, it was a holiday the whole week, so we didn't know if we were gonna have people come to the place where we were going to build a well. That's what we did. We went with Living Water International. And so, you know, everybody was thinking what's going to happen and all the negative things that could come up with. And every time we go to a mission trip, they put us all together, and they start with a Christian meditation, but this time it was different. And it got our mindset in a very positive attitude. So I just wanted to share with you guys because it's funny, and I find myself saying my favorite thing on everything. So this is.
And I want to give a little bit of context. The Empowered Women's Circle leaders meet on Fridays for an hour or two every Friday to kind of set content and figure out where we're going with this circle. And I was sharing that I was really having a rough week, travel and missing people and not feeling well. And Carolina shared, and I have not even heard what she's going to say yet, but she said, I have to tell you this because, ladies, this will get you laughing and smiling every day. So I'm really excited to hear what it is.
So it's something that went viral on the internet. So I don't know if some of you have heard it. It's the Dog and the Cat Diary.
Who's heard
Has
it?
anybody?
Not me either.
Nope. Okay, here we go. This is the doggy. 8 a.m., dog food, my favorite thing. 9:30, a car ride, my favorite thing. 9:40, a walk in the park, my favorite thing. 10:30, got rubbed and petted, my favorite thing. 12 p.m., milk bones, my favorite thing. 1 p.m., played in the yard, my favorite thing. 3 p.m., wag my tail, my favorite thing. 5 p.m., dinner, my favorite thing. 7 p.m., gotta play ball, my favorite thing. 8 p.m., wow, watch TV with the people, my favorite thing. 11 p.m., sleeping on the bed, my favorite thing. So now we go to the cat. Same day for the cat. Day 983 of my captivity. My captors continue to taunt me with bizarre little dangling objects. They dine lavishly on fresh meat while the other inmates and I are fed hash or some sort of dry nuggets. Although I make my contempt for the rations perfectly clear, I nevertheless must eat something in order to keep up my strength. The only thing that keeps me going is my dream of escape. In an attempt to disgust them, I once again vomit on the carpet. Today, I decapitated a mouse and dropped its headless body at their feet. I had hoped this would strike fear into their hearts, since it clearly demonstrates my capabilities. However, they merely made condescending comments about what a good little hunter I am. Bastards. Sorry, guys. There was some sort of assembly of their accomplices tonight. I was placed in solitary confinement for the duration of the event. However, I could hear the noises that smelled the food. I overheard that my confinement was due to the power of allergies. I must learn what this means and how to use it to my advantage. Today, I was almost successful in an attempt to assassinate one of my tormentors by weaving around his feet as he was walking. I must try again this tomorrow, but at the top of the stairs. I'm convinced that the other prisoners here are flunkies and snitches. The dog receives special privileges. He is regularly released and seems to be more than willing to return. He is obviously retarded. The bird must be an informant. I observe him communicate with the guards regularly. I am certain that he reports my every move. My captors have arranged protective custody for him in an elevated cell, so he is safe for now. So anyway, this got us in a great mood, and you know, and it's about mindset, how you wake up every morning. Don't get overwhelmed by everything that's happened. Just, you know, count your blessings every day and just be grateful for everything. In fact, it set up the mood for the whole week, because despite the rain, the mud, my favorite thing, you know, we were able to complete the well. We shared the gospel with over 80 children and more than 60 women. So it was amazing. And it's just about gratitude, you know, and having the opportunity to be placed in a spot where you can make a difference. So anyway, we were there for a week, and then we moved on to our nursing school. This is what the nursing school looked in 2016. It was just a little tiny one hall, probably this big, where everything happened. You know, the school grounds got all the sewage from the neighborhood. So it was horrible. And it has taken 2 years to get to this, because we had to start with the sewage, and it's just been one challenge after the other. But as we say, my favorite thing, there was a reason why there were 2 years in the making of this. Now we have the whole community involved. They're making soccer tournaments. They're doing concerts. So many little things, and they're contributing. So they're loving their school and everything that's happening. You know, so they're a part of the project, which is what we intended in the first place, because it's theirs. And
Excuse me, I just want to share for anybody that doesn't know that in the Empowered Women's Circle, we gave $1,500 to tuition for a couple of nursing students, and then our retreat we were able to give about $900 as well toward this project. And so just coming, and anything that you ever want to buy with ID Life helps if it supports your wellness goals, and being involved in a loving, supportive way, no matter what it is helping to lift up this project, because Carolina is able to take it straight to Honduras, and I love that, you know, there's no administrative costs, there's no extra fees or something. She takes it there, they get it, we see the results right away, and I love on this project, and so you guys are a part of it, and so feel proud of that.
And it's not only a school for women who don't have a lot of money for an education, a nursing education, but it's you know, it's going to be a clinic. It will have a pharmacy. In fact, there's going to be a second floor, you know, that will have dormitories also for girls that are coming from the rural areas. And what Catherine was saying about the scholarships is so important, because on the third year, the women, which most of them are single moms, cannot work and sustain their families. So, you know, to be able to stay in the school and do social service, you know, which requires 8 hours of their time is pretty much doesn't let them provide for their families. So we help them.
And then you've educated and trained so many nursing healthcare professionals to go into these communities that are so impoverished. So imagine the impact on the rest of the health of the communities too.
So the last thing that I'm going to say is that in the event center where they used to have classes, we're going to have a little enterprise, and it's called Days for Girls. It's sustainable hygiene kits. They're going to be made in Honduras. They're going to be distributed through the Living Water International chain, you know, so that they reach villages, and they're going to be funded by a lot of people here in the United States, mostly churches and individuals who want to contribute to these girls. And that will provide more scholarships for the girls. Here's the kids involved. Here we were getting the girls together for the enterprise. And these 3 girls are graduating in December with high honors, the 3 of them. And it's because of what's being done here in the US and the contributions of people. So I just wanted to give you an update of where we are and where we're going. So thank you. Thank you so much.
And it's my absolute dream that we all at some point through a sustainable effort get to go with Carolina and Mary so that we can see it firsthand, and all of you, your flight from Canada, from out of Toronto to Honduras. Hopefully we can do that someday. That would be great. I'm going to skip through a few things because I really want to get our voices in the room. I want to have an opportunity to say what our goals are going to be just before we head out. We've got enough time for that. You should check back on your emails because you got an opportunity to sign up for this, how to manage your waistline during the holidays. Dr. Stacy Cooper has a whole pile of online information for us, and this is a free series that you will get that will essentially, because I've seen it, it's awesome. Essentially give you a few tips and tricks to go along with what Marcia is doing for movement so that you can just be reminded of how to be super cautious and careful and also have fun over the holidays. And our holidays are coming fast. My goodness. And I just want to make sure before we officially close that you know we have I have been a little bit slow in getting weekly content to you, but if you go to the Empowered Women's Circle homepage, there's 1.5 years of videos there. If you haven't seen any, go back to 2017, right at the very beginning. The very first 12 that we posted were a beautiful series of 3 months, 12 weeks, which go through, and I've directed a lot of my recent patients there too, go through mind, body, soul in very intentional fashion as to how to really step into this wellness journey. So those first 2017 12 weeks are pretty amazing if you haven't seen them. And then we kind of started going through anti-cancer book chapter by chapter in terms of how to be healthful in all of our decisions, mind, body, soul, all of that impacts cancer risk. So we went through that really, really carefully. And then there's been sort of tidbits here and there. So those videos are a lot of fun, and we will get back into getting more weekly ones there. Right now there's 3 beginner, intermediate, and advanced workouts. And I say workouts carefully. They're very well done. They're not too strenuous. They're not going to leave you hurting, but they're there as a resource that Marcia has posted. So really, like we say, no excuse not to get moving because we've given you every opportunity to. I can take those workouts on the road with me, and I do. So it's all there for you. If you're not part of our closed Facebook group, get on there because Marcia is going to recap some of what she said tonight on there, we hope. And Becky's going to post some pictures from tonight, and we're going to have some fun over there. So stay in touch with us there. Our next event's December 5th. I printed some flyers you can take, and also business cards. Ashley, can I ask you to get those little business cards and give everybody 2 each? And I would like you to take those 2 and give them to 2 people who can then sign up and register and get involved and maybe come to our event December 5th. We'd really, really love that. And I'll start to be more intentional about telling you exactly what we're doing December 5th so you can share specifics. But December 10th and January 9th are our next live events. And Stacy has some business cards for the Empowered Women's Circle to share with you guys because I sent them home with her when she was staying with me. So that would be, oh, okay. Give one, give, yeah, you guys know who you are that will share them. And so now I just want to close, and Stacey, you can close in your room. I want to say thank you very, very much for coming, for joining us. Jennifer, and I know Nicole was here. Thank you for joining us. I will leave us unmuted, but you can mute us, I think. And we're going to go around the room and just say what our goal is, what we're setting as our likely movement goal moving forward before we get back together December 5th and the context closes completely. Any questions, Stacy? Okay. Love you guys. Thanks for coming. All right. No. Yay! Yay! Movement goals. Let's go, Jill.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. I did give you a heads up, right? Anna.
Go ahead.
To try to confirm 3, well, right now I'm doing 2 dates. So to try to confirm 3 dates during the week. So some windows or appointments with myself to do something.
3 30-minute workouts.
Well, I'm going by the dates. I put them 30 minutes, but what is happening is that I end up trying to find a time. It's like, oh, enjoy this class. And then, it becomes more. But I'm doing 2 days, so I'm trying to find time 3 times a week to include the whole week.
Yay!
But probably that's too much. But
So you have to decide if you want to commit to that. And so
No,
that's part of what we talk about. Do I want to put myself up to a challenge?
no.
And is that realistic?
I want to do that, but I think that for what we're doing, I want to try to. I like the feeling of I'm committing to do things, but I am doing more just because it's so.
Okay.
Makes me very happy.
So her goal in the room, which you can't hear, is 3 a week. We've heard you. Do you guys have any goals you want to share?
Sure. I'm gonna do 10 push-ups and a 30-second plank every morning.
10 push-ups and a 30-second plank morning and night.
So like in 1 day, 1 minute.
Yeah.
That's 20.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And I know you'll do it.
Yeah.
How about you? Anything? We've been walking as a family almost every night. So and these girls will run 5 kilometers with me when I go. So I know that I've got accountability partners.
Now that I have how to recharge my battery, I really wanted to keep trying to do my goals on my first challenge.
Which are?
Well, it was 3 workouts a week,
Uh-huh.
and it was an hour each.
An hour each, 2
Yeah,
workouts a week.
like 30 minutes walking, and then do some of the bridge exercise that I like, and some plank, like 5 minutes plank, like 5 minutes, but I do 1 minute,
Yeah.
first 30 seconds, another minute, the first 30 seconds, and so like
Yeah.
get 5 minutes.
I love it.
And
You want have a fine spinning.
Well, and I'm trying to figure out some exercise for my arms and shoulders. I'm trying to figure what works better for me.
Wonderful.
So I'm trying to.
Yay. So for anyone who doesn't know, I think I can share, Marcia had surgery a while ago. I had surgery recently, and we needed to get our core back. So we've done glute bridge, plank, and lunges with really good form on our homepage. So there's the movement pieces, which explain very clearly how to do those movements to get the best core strength from them. And then there's the workouts that use those movements into a combination. So again, it's all there to be very careful and safe and to use. Lolita?
I would have to say more consistency with working out. Because I can work out 3 times, 4 times a week, and something will happen, schedule change, and then I'll just quit. That's it. Consistent.
And are you compassionate with yourself when you don't do it on those weeks?
Yeah, I
Because
just feel horrible when I don't.
I know, like me too.
I just feel bad.
And no endorphins. Like I'm
Yeah.
kind of addicted to those endorphins. Yeah. So I think that my take home message tonight, and hopefully maybe this will help you too, is to just have that self-compassion. When circumstances mean that you can't get there, it's okay. Just get up the next morning and start over. Right?
Don't make it worse.
Don't make it worse. I definitely made it worse this last little bit when I wasn't meeting my goal. Delia?
Well, we were walking like 3 miles a day every day, and we kind of stopped, and now I guess I'm going to try to get back to doing that. So, yeah, we just moved, and it's been such a big hassle, a lot of work moving. I'll get back to it.
Yeah. Do either of you plan to email Marcia with some movement goals for the next 4 weeks?
Is it online? The address?
It will be in your next email that you get. Because you get them, make sure she gets them, and you can email, we'll put Marcia's email in there. Or you can give it to them tonight, yeah. And then you can email those specifics and just kind of have a bit of accountability. She's not too hard on it.
So my original goal was that I was going to work out like 2 days a week for 15 minutes a day and 2 days a week for 30 minutes a day. And then I got sick and it was kind of like included. So I decided I needed to kind of reset what I was going to do. And I started this many, many years ago. And I've kind of been redoing it the last year or so. Not as much as consistently as I would like, but when I turned 67 the other day, I'm going, okay, I can commit to 15 minutes a day.
Yay!
I can commit, I mean, there's 15 minutes in everybody's day. Again, I would rather be playing Candy Crush, but you know, but I've got 15 minutes. But what I did is, and I love my Kindle because Kindle can actually talk back to you. I sat down and I literally have this thing that I go through, and it starts off with having a strong, healthy mind, a strong, healthy body, a strong, healthy soul, and then I literally focus on every single part of my body: strong, healthy foot, strong, healthy ankle, and just goes through the whole thing. That takes me 15 minutes. But because it's read to me, I know it's going to be 15 minutes.
Yep.
If I just do it in my mind, I'm not going to.
Nice.
But so that's what I'm committing myself to, is I've got 15 minutes every day. And unless I'm in the hospital, you know, I can find 15 minutes, you know. And
all right, we heard you.
You know, but one of the interesting things that I found out when I kind of wrote this all down, and like I said, I'm going over every part of my body, I mistyped healthy. And I mistyped it because I put a space in between HEAL and THY. And I realized that healthy really means heal thy body, heal thy soul, and heal other parts.
Yeah, that's neat. Very neat. Every day. Anita?
I'm going to write in the calendar a specific time, because that's been my problem, is I get doing other things that are more fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just need to write a specific time.
Yeah.
And do it.
Yeah, I might need to do
Sometimes
that.
you need an alarm to go off at that specific time to say, okay, take a little break.
Right.
Say it's your favorite thing.
That's my favorite thing.
Well, I'm pretty dedicated to 3 days a week, and then I have 3 that I walk. But I'm going to try to incorporate some weight training in that. The other 3 that I walk and add some weight. In that.
Or planks, glute bridges, and lunges. If you go online and you see those little movements, they're really easy, and they get, I mean, immediately, within a minute, you feel like you've done something for your arms or your butt, or
you can just repeat muscles.
Yeah. Jill?
Oh, I was inspired by Ashley with her planks because I walk every day about 2 miles, but I need something else. So the core stuff, yeah, and I'll look on your site too and see. Yeah, I don't know, and I don't even know like how often I would do that, but just say even twice a week.
This idea of dropping down, first thing in the morning or just before bed. I mean, that's a great
Perfect.
idea.
Yeah. You forget about these things. Like you do them all, you're young or whatever.
And how vital. I mean, my low back was killing me this last couple weeks, and I was like, that is my core. I've got to get it back. Like, what is wrong with me? I know these things. Becky?
I'm not part of the movement, but thank you for the opportunity to join the main course. I am going to take advantage of that now that I am more able. But my goal is actually to be more specific at goal setting and prioritizing and time management and scheduling, and it's very inspiring. I wrote down pages and pages of notes when you were speaking, so I got a lot to build on.
Oh, I love it. That's such a great resource, right? We're so blessed. We're so blessed. I don't even have to ask you. This one works out more than any other human being I know. All right. All right. Good night, ladies. Thank you so much for coming. At this point, we move our chairs to the side and we put our tables back in a row. If you have even another 3 minutes to help us with that, we would appreciate it. Can you guide the ladies where the tables go and stuff? Isn't it